Welcome, Las Vegas TwitchCon, to the Balancing Act. Hello, everybody. I hope you all have been having a really good TwitchCon. We're excited to present to you a very informative and wonderful presentation that these lovely women here have worked on, and we've all practiced and prepared for you today. I'm sure a lot of this information is going to be key to your career and your success as broadcasters. So with that, let's begin the Balancing Act, inspiring panel to uplift content creators and current content creators to fulfill their full potential, because we all know working full-time and broadcasting full-time is a lot of work. So how do we mitigate those challenges? And I would love to introduce to you all of my wonderful speakers. So if my speakers could please introduce yourselves by name, tell me your pronouns, and what do you do on Twitch?
Okay, hi, hello. I go by It's Lemon Squares on Twitch, and I go by she, her pronouns. I just actually graduated as a business student, but on Twitch you can find me doing a lot of horror variety. One of my things is I love singing and dancing while I kill zombies, so that's my shtick. But I cannot wait for you to be inspired and for you to meet these lovely other ladies with me.
Hi everybody, I'm Hero Carrie, or Kelly. My pronouns are she, her. I am a full-time worker in tech and a part-time streamer. You can find me on Twitch playing Just Dance. I wear green suits and chat can change my pattern, and I also do variety as well.
I'm Yume Kokoro, she, her pronouns, and right now I usually stream in League, but typically it'll be an FPS game.
What's going on, everybody? I go by Lauren WKR. You're just welcome to call me Lauren. I am a Madden streamer, so I'm really big into football content. With it being football season, I do sidecast the Steelers game. Go Steelers. Sorry for any Rams fans here. I do kind of dabble in variety, but for the most part, I do just stream Madden for the most part.
Hi everybody, my name is Twyla. I am a full-time mom and streamer, and that is a tough one. I also go by she, her pronouns, and I stream a lot of variety, anywhere from Stardew Valley to Lies of P or Phasmophobia. Very wide variety of games.
Awesome. My name is Ash Said Hi. I go by she, her, and I play lots of retro games, Nintendo games, retro variety, and all that kind of stuff. And I love being on Twitch and meeting wonderful people like all of you. So with that being said, here's what we're going to go over today: consistency in content creation, support systems and accomplishments, preventing burnout, realistic schedules and goals, maintaining relationships and schedule, winding down after stream and non-guild days off, and advice for upcoming streamers, and then we'll do a Q&A portion. So with that being said, my first question is, how do you find time to stream? And I'd love to open that up to Lemon Squares.
Of course. So I actually graduated now, but I did full-time, or I did part-time, but honestly, with how much time you put out a stream, I've been busy, you know, school and stream and everything. So when I started, honestly, I started looking at, okay, I want to be productive while gaming. So I kind of merged my free time to game into content creation and streaming. So honestly, finding that passion and transferring me gaming to me starting to stream was honestly what started to get me to find the time to go and do it.
Awesome. Carrie, do you have anything to say about it?
Sure. So I work full-time. I do work hybrid. I have mixed feelings about that, as most of you might feel. So I try to manage most of my stream time on the days that I'm at home. And thankfully, with a full-time job, I have a pretty stable 9-to-5 type of lifestyle. But with that being said, it takes a lot of energy out of you. So through testing schedules, through the 2 to 3 years I've been streaming, I've found a balance that is, you know, being consistent with my schedule, but also having enough time for me to, have some rest days. So a lot of it has just been trial and error, and then just kind of working with what works best for me.
Awesome. Lauren, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously when you have a full-time job, that's like the most important thing, right? Like that's what pays the bills, that's what puts food on the table. And I think for me, I try to make it a point to communicate to my community to stream 3 times a week. I think sometimes that can look like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but for me it might be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It might be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So yeah, I just like to let my community know that they'll see me 3 times a week, and if anything changes, I'll definitely communicate to them about that. But if something were to come up for work, like I said, obviously that's priority. But
Yeah. Awesome. Twyla.
With me having kids at home, one thing that worked really well for me was streaming when they're either at school or after they go to bed. So it's a set time when they go to school every day. So it was nice, simple answers. So either when they were at school or bedtime's at 8 o'clock, I have an hour or 2 to clean up after dinner and get ready for myself and then go live as well. And now I stream actually through the night. That's my consistent schedule because I knew they'd be in bed. They wouldn't be bothered by anything. And it was also one thing that was important was to find a time that worked for me and my family, and also what worked for my community and what was going to also allow for growth as well in the future. So there's a lot of things to look into when finding time to stream.
I think the most important thing that y'all are talking about is schedules, right?
Yes.
And trying to fit it in with your life, your work, your personal life. And it's hard to do that and also stay consistent, right? Because you have to make sure that you're balancing all of these things. So do you have any tips on how to stay consistent and reduce schedule disruptions? This one, I'll start with Twyla.
So one thing that's really important is to have a schedule. And not only whether you have a digital schedule like on your phone or a planner that you write everything down, or a big desk calendar, maybe something you have on the wall, whatever works for you. And then each week set up, like say you say Sunday is your start day. Plan out your whole week and say what you want to do and have ready to do those days. And then maybe on Saturday you have to revisit those days and see what worked well for you and what didn't maybe work so well, and then plan your next week accordingly to say, okay, this is what worked good, let's do this again. Or maybe like, man, I really didn't show up to stream because I wasn't prepared that day. So it's things that you can adjust, and you need to revamp those things on a weekly basis and even a daily basis too if you have the time. And also prioritize your schedule. Like there may be 100 things on your list that you have to get done. You're not going to get through everything. So find out what's the most important things to get done and make sure you prioritize things and set that schedule up for yourself.
Yeah, awesome. What about you, Yune? Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely planning, like Twyla was saying, and making sure, especially if you have to take a break, that's going to be super important, and we'll get into that more later as well, to keeping that consistency going. And also, when you're trying out schedules, it's also going to be important that you keep going with it for a little bit, because even though it may be hard, you're training your body also to stay consistent with that schedule with you as well.
Yeah, taking breaks is so important. You can't do your best work if you're not self-caring. Carrie, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, so I think for staying consistent, I think for me, the most important thing is to make sure that whatever you're doing, it's sustainable. So, when we all started in the pandemic, I was fully remote, so I was able to put in more hours for stream. And now transitioning into a hybrid kind of schedule, it's getting a bit difficult to maintain that. So I've recently changed my schedule, which has been the same 3 days for the past 2 years. Now I plan the days each week, and I try to communicate with my community as much as possible anytime that there's any schedule changes. But for me, it's important for me to stay, happy and not have burnout. I think we're taking questions at the end, actually. Sorry. But that's what has worked best for me.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so important. Lemon Squares, do you want to add?
In terms of schedule disruptions. As a student, if there's anyone else here, you guys know sometimes teachers will give you a project last minute. That happened to me all the time, and guess what? They were group projects. So honestly, the only way that I've been successful at school, I mean, I graduated with distinctions, you know. Just let's go. Yes. But honestly, the hard truth is, if you want to be successful and you want to stay consistent, you need to stream at the same time. You know, that's been a big thing for me. That's how I've grown. And get those when-to meets, send those. Submit projects early. That's the only way that I was able to genuinely make it work. Midterm season sucked. Exams sucked. I moved my schedule a bit during those times. But honestly, submit things early. And sure, you might make a few people upset with it, but at the end of the day, you want to be successful and you have to put your best foot forward.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of what you're talking about too also ties into how you can set yourself up for success with the tools that you have. So with that being said, what type of outlets or support systems help you reach your goals? And with this one, I want to start with you, Lemon.
Perfect. So one of these perfect tidbits that I can really give you guys is, I have a walk with one of my friends every single week, Nathalie, je t'aime. And I talk to her about what I'm worried about, what I'm doing in types of stream, and having someone that's outside of the stream atmosphere that's listening to you is so important, because they start understanding what's affecting you. They start being more compassionate, and they really give you a chance to bounce off ideas. So if I could recommend one thing to you guys, get one friend that's not really in the space and start teaching them what's affecting you and how they can better help you as a content creator in this space.
Awesome. I love that. I love that you have a support system outside of content creation. I'm gonna ask Twyla, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, actually, one thing that I'll say, a couple things. My husband has been a huge support system to me. Not only is he my husband of actually 20 years, we're celebrating 20 years this year. He's also a Twitch partner as well, so he understands the whole difficulties of streaming, and we bounce ideas off each other a lot as well. And his mother has also been a huge help with the kids, taking the kids to soccer practice or football or whatever we needed to help out with. And our moderators, lean on your moderators for help too. They're there to help you. I actually have one of my moderators in chat, or in the audience here, and they're wonderful people that want to help you. So make sure you use that help and talk to people. You know, they're there to help you out.
Awesome. Yune.
Yeah, I'd have to say definitely friends online and IRL. It's definitely, I say, important to have a balance of both, because ultimately you never know what could happen online. IRL is going to be there for you to lean on at the end of the day. And definitely mods as well for me, and I have 2 of them here with me as well, and a good friend of mine in the front. So yeah, I would definitely say IRL friends, like Lemon was saying, do give that outside perspective. That's very good from somebody who's not so dived into this space and gives a more objective point of view of what's going on. So that's also been very important in decisions I've made before as well.
Awesome. Carrie?
So we've kind of touched on it already, friends and family. My mods are here, so shout out to them. But for me, what's been really, really helpful, which is also a really challenging thing to accomplish, is trying to find content creators who kind of share the same work ethic, the same perspectives, and it is a bit challenging to find those people as I'm staring at them, but they cheer you on, they show up and they help you out, and I think they're, a big support, so thank you.
Yeah. Lauren, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off of what's already been said, family is a huge one for me. My community is very aware that family comes first. So if there's anything that comes about, that's it. I'm going to the family emergency or family whatever the case may be. And I have a therapist. I've been in therapy for a little over 6 years now. So I think it's important to have someone that's completely removed, doesn't know you, doesn't know your parents, doesn't know your friends, and can provide a complete different outside perspective, which is extremely helpful.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned therapy because I was gonna say that too.
Yeah.
You know, it's so key to be able to talk to somebody that has an outside perspective.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think when you have those support systems, it helps you realize some goals that you might have, right? Because you're going through the motions and you're understanding what your limitations are, what you want to do. So with that being said, what's one stream accomplishment that you are the most proud of? And I'm gonna start with Carrie.
So, first, I want to say I am surrounded by these amazing women, and they are all partners. And I want to call out that I am an affiliate. So, with that being said, I wanted to call that out specifically because I want to say that you don't need a title in order to stream or just accomplish good things. So, for me, my community and I have been very involved in charity. So we've raised $12,000 together collectively, and most recently we've raised $3,500 with St. Jude this past May.
Wow. Let's go. You'll love to see it. Lemon squares.
All right. Okay, I mean, partner was great, but this may be a little unconventional, but like I have a medical stutter, which is maybe why sometimes you might hear me mess up a little bit. It works. But actually, the thing that I'm the most proud of is I've streamed over 2,900. 2,900 hours. Yeah, something like that. And when I look back at clips from when I first started, like my speech is something that content creation has enabled me to improve and work upon, and I am the individual I am now because of content creation. So it makes you think. Thank you. So it really makes you think when you're going into smaller streams, you know, and you're being that first viewer to someone, you have that impact on someone. And I'm so grateful that I have some wonderful mods that believed in me and that really enabled me that space to, you know, flourish and continue working on my speech. So I really thank them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Beautiful. I love that. Twyla.
I actually am very excited that I got Twitch Partner 3 years ago. Actually, I'll be celebrating 3-year anniversary November 4th, I think. So yay! But I also was invited to the Twitch Women's Guild, which is one of 3 Unity guilds that Twitch has just recently started, as well as many of my fellow people up here. Very proud of all of them and all the accomplishments, including Ash as well. And what else? I'm also, not only did I graduate from college many, many years ago with a few degrees, I was working full-time, but now I'm a mother to 2 wonderful kids and also now a grandma.
I love that. Oh my gosh. So many accomplishments up here. Yune.
Yeah, I also hit partner early this year, but I would have to say the best thing, kind of like Lemon, has been how I've been presenting myself on stream and been able to talk and carry myself on stream on my own. Because if you look back, a year ago, it was literally just my friends talking, and I was so quiet because I was so nervous to talk in front of people, even though it was just through a screen. But being able to take that step and do solo streams and be able to grow through that, to be able to communicate myself. Highly recommend, by the way, if you find yourself not being able to talk on stream too easily, is just do a solo stream and just talk about your week. Just talk about random things that you enjoy. So yeah, I've been able to grow a lot through that.
I love that. Lauren.
Yeah, community is a big one for me. I think I have to remember, for me, I feel like I have to remember that my community is ultimately what enabled me to get a lot of the opportunities that I've gotten. And so playing a very, very intense game like Madden, I do get into my head a lot, especially playing online against opponents. I feel like I have to be at my best. I feel like I have to always win. And when I'm not winning or when I'm getting my butt kicked, I think that's going to affect, the sort of the vibe and like how people are interacting. But my community reminds me all the time, like, listen, we're legit not here to see you win. We're legit not here to see you lose. Like, we're here because we want to be here. We're just trying to kick it. We're just trying to have a good time. So I would definitely say I owe everything to my community for the most part.
That's awesome. Incredible. I love hearing about all of your wins. And I think, you know, especially as content creators, we get really focused on all of the things that we're doing, all of those wins, and it's wonderful. And I think one thing that could kind of happen, you know, when you're working so hard is you forget to take care of yourself. And so I want to know from you all, how do you prevent burnout? So I'm going to start with Yune on this one.
Yeah, breaks are going to be super important. I've been on both ends of having burnout and having a consistent schedule that prevents it. There was a time where I streamed for 4 months in a row without stopping, even though I definitely felt tired at times. And through that, you need to take breaks. You might feel like, hey, it's going to stop your momentum, but ultimately, if you get burnout from streaming too much, then you're going to end up quitting or streaming less than you want to in the future anyway. So it's definitely important to schedule breaks into your week.
Awesome. Lemon squares.
Oh, perfect. So I dealt with a lot of burnout during, you know, just being overwhelmed with school, but also only playing a game for a year and a half. Let's talk about that. Is anybody else dealing with that? They only play one game on stream? Is there anybody? How are you doing it? Are you good? Are you good? But honestly, I do think if you start feeling burnout, it's always more than, you know, not, it's always like, try something new, you know? My biggest thing that I wish I did earlier was maybe like half of your streams are a different game than you like usually would play. But my biggest recommendation, I know that everybody says this, find a game that you enjoy off stream. Skyrim is that game. Love my Skyrim. But find that game that you can genuinely enjoy off stream so that it can help you still enjoy gaming, because we don't want to stop our passions because of burnout. So that's definitely one thing that I would keep in mind.
I love that Skyrim's your offline game, because I just started Oblivion and Skyrim's going to be next. So I love that. Yeah. All right, Lauren, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to piggyback on taking a break. Like, I have no problem telling my community that I need a break. Essentially what I'll do is I'll tell my mods, like, hey, everything's fine, everything's good, but I am going to take a break from streaming. I am going to be off social media for about a week just to reset. It's extremely important to reset. And I think your community appreciates you a lot more when you're honest and when you're transparent with them. So yeah, definitely, like I said, I have no problem saying, hey, I need a break. I gotta chill.
I feel like sometimes too, if you don't, your community will remind you.
Yeah.
They will be like, yeah. Because you know we all have that hydrate, you know, kind of channel point, or like, you know, they will tell you. Twyla, do you have anything to say about it?
Don't be afraid to change games. Like, so there's different kinds of burnout. There could be burnout in your real life. There's burnout in streaming. There's also burnout from actually gaming. I know a lot of people find that one game or that one category that's working really well for them. Make sure you take a break from that particular category and go somewhere else as well, because if you just play that one game or that one thing, you're going to end up resenting that game, and you're going to end up resenting your community for only watching that one particular game. Let them know that if you do change games, it's okay to still watch me. I still know the stuff about that one game. I can still answer any questions if you have any questions. So just communicate with your community and schedule white space. It's very important to actually take time away from everything, whether it's real life or gaming or streaming. Make sure you save some time for yourself.
Yeah, that's true. And so I guess the next thing I would love to ask y'all, you know, because we're talking about making sure you take a break, we're talking about making sure that you balance your content and your life. And we all know that our content depends on outside sources to become visible when you're not live. So how much time do you spend building content outside of stream? So I'm gonna go with Carrie on this one.
So with working full time, that's 40 hours of my time. And then there's some time, allocated for free time, and then, my friends and family, and also just doing nothing. And the remaining time, I use it for streams. So I think I've estimated it's probably around 20 hours of stream time. So 10 of it is probably of streaming. And then the other 10 is doing like editing and then pre and post planning and just, stuff like that. So probably around 20 hours.
Wow. It's a heavy commitment. Yeah. Lauren.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with about 15 to 20 hours as well. I mean, I kind of look at it as like a part-time job. Like, obviously, it's easy to hit the go live button. It's easy to just stream and kick it and have a good time. If you do create YouTube content, like if you're doing talking head stuff and things like that, like it's easy to record. But a lot of the time consumption does come with editing. I mean, I can easily sit down and like edit something within Adobe Premiere for like anywhere from like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on how much information's in there, how much information I ultimately want to put out. And then obviously, sometimes you'll get done and you're like, oh crap, I forgot to put subscribe, or I forgot to put, whatever. I wanted the audio levels to be at this level and it's a little bit too high. So yeah, I look at it more so as like a part-time job, but I think for me that the editing aspect is what takes up a lot of it.
Yeah. I definitely know that pain with Premiere and all that kind of stuff. Lemon.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm like sitting in like the 20-hour range as well. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but it definitely is consuming like time-wise in terms of like editing your clips, being online, posting consistently. Like that is, I think, the biggest thing. Evidently. Sure, we are successful. I would say we're all successful, but that doesn't stop there. You have to keep reminding people of your existence. So tools that have helped me is like Join My Combo, so it edits my clips like for me. I love them. Hell yeah. Not sponsored. Make sure. But honestly, definitely would recommend automating a bit of your content. Just because it is important, but also try not to be on everything. I think that's one thing that I've been hearing a lot. Don't try to be on everything. I'm not on Threads. I'm not posting everywhere all the time, so definitely just do as best as you can with your time, because burning out is not the way, so just try to be consistent in your own capacity.
I love that you highlight that you're not on everything, because I feel like people feel like they have to be on everything, but if you do a couple of things really, really well, will give you so much bang for your buck versus just being everywhere and just doing the same thing everywhere. And while you are doing all of those things, are you making sure to drink water? Are you making sure? What's your daily water intake, right? Like, seriously, that's key. All of y'all, I see y'all. All right. Good, stay hydrated. We're literally in the desert. So, with that being said, what are some strategies to successfully balance IRL relationships alongside streaming? So I'm gonna go, Lemon, I'm gonna start back with you again on this one.
Okay, sure. So definitely, I think what I was saying about my wonderful friend Natalie, I definitely do think that there is an educational aspect with live stream, with content creation. So it will be a lot of telling your friends about these things called PogChamp and what that means, how to play with a few of my friends, But honestly, I cannot recommend enough. Keep your friends in the loop. The last thing you want is a friend that hasn't taken the time to understand what you do. It's really important to have those people to bounce ideas off. I know that sounds like a little bit of a broken record, but it's really important to keep your circle around you. Like, even my parents only found out that streaming was a legitimate thing when I started doing my taxes. Get your parents involved in that, like show them that it's an actual profession, an actual job. Like, it's worth doing alongside school for me, but definitely keep them in the loop, and definitely do not shy away from answering those uncomfortable questions, because they definitely can transform your content and your feeling and your happiness in the space.
Yeah, yeah. If only people could see how many tax papers I need to do taxes, they would be like, yeah, this is real. Yeah. Twyla.
IRL relationships are important to have outside of streaming, very important. And I think one of the biggest things is like what Lemon was saying is communication. Just talking to people, whether it's your spouse, your partner, your friends, even your boss. You know, sometimes you have to have. There's lots of different types of relationships that you have, and setting a calendar and schedule. It's really important to have those things set up, and even routines too. Like if you go live every Monday night, then maybe after you go live, then you can have a date night or something with your significant other or whatever. So it's all about communication and scheduling. It really comes down to that, I think.
Thank you for sharing that. Yune.
Yeah, I would definitely say IRL as well, prioritizing those relationships. Because ultimately those are going to be the people like Twyla was saying, like your bosses, your teachers, the people who have been around other people who know how to talk to other people. In this space I'm in, you can tell that people haven't talked to like a boss or something in a very long time. So I definitely say IRL needs to be prioritized.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing we can draw from what y'all are talking about is communication, right? Like talking to the people that you're living with. I mean, they could see how much work you're putting into it, right? So they know, but just having that open communication is so key, which brings me to my next point of how to manage the guilt of telling your community you need a day off. You know, because it's real, it really happens, and it is a conversation that we need to have. So, Lauren, what do you have to share about that?
It's funny because I have some of my community members here and they're laughing. I honestly, for me, I have no guilt. I have no guilt. If I need a day off, if I need time off, that's what I need. I come first. And at the end of the day, if I'm at my best, then I think my stream is going to go well. I think my stream's going to be good, and I think my community is ultimately going to have a good time. Like, so long as we're laughing and making jokes, you know, and I'm at my best, that's what's really, really, really important to me. So for me, like, if there's a day, if I've had a day and I just need a day off, like, I will literally say in the Discord, hey, I'll see you guys at, 3 o'clock, and then the next, like, hour or so, like, maybe I'm just not feeling very well, or I'm not feeling it, and I'm just like, listen, guys, I need a day. And they get that, and they accept that, and that's important to me. So yeah, I got to take care of me, so there's no guilt on my end.
Yeah, they know you're a human just like them. They know
Right,
you're a
exactly.
person. And if they care, they're going to be like, yeah, you should take a break. You should take a day off. Yeah, so Twyla, do you have anything to add?
I actually feel guilty sometimes when I take days off because I do have an obligation to my community to be live every day. And I'm not saying that you don't.
No.
They subscribe to your channel, they donate, whatever, to make sure that you're there so that they have someone to watch all the time. But you have to realize that even though that they subscribe to you and everything, they don't own you. And I know it's a little harsh to say, but they're there to support you because they appreciate your time and giving your time. But you are number one. You have to remember that. If you can't be there, don't push yourself past what you can't physically hold. If you need a day, take a day. Just make sure, again, communication. Tell your community that you need some time off and just let them know. Don't wait till the last minute like what I do sometimes. If you know ahead of time that, hey, I've been at TwitchCon all day long and I'm exhausted and my feet are killing me and I cannot go live, please. They'll understand. They're people too, and they know that you're a person too, and they like you. So just communicate.
Yeah, absolutely. Communication is the key to that. Yune?
Yeah, I'm like Lauren. It'll be 50-50. Sometimes I feel guilty if I haven't streamed like the entire week. But ultimately, it is better for yourself if you do need to take that day off.
Yep.
Because that can even lead into burnout if you start forcing yourself to stream on days that you need off. Whether it's mentally, you have plans. Again, I'd rather go with those plans because prioritizing your real life is super important throughout this.
Awesome. Lemon?
All right, I'll give you guys a 411. I've regretted every stream that I didn't feel 100%, and then I was like, I'll do it. And then I streamed, and then guess what that happens? I stream for 45 minutes in the night and stream. So definitely, I can say days off are important. I'm not perfect. I've streamed multiple times where I wasn't feeling great. But one thing I would definitely do is don't feel guilty, but just honestly, like even as a watcher of streams, just let your community know. Discord, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, just let them know. People will not be upset. I mean, now you can pin messages, right? So just go and chat, be like, y'all love you, but I'm not feeling good today. See you X time, tomorrow, the other week, whatnot, but just give people communication and don't feel bad, we're all human. I don't have great days all the time, but yeah. A lot of piece of advice.
And I think the key thing too is to kind of have like a mind shift about that concept. Like, it's not really guilt. It's like more like, we're in this together and I'm just sharing how I feel today. I know y'all care. So I'm gonna take a day off and we're gonna come back and we're gonna do more next time, and I feel like people will understand that. So, and because our community is so tight knit with us, like it can feel like, they're like our friends or like people that are close to us. So I would say to you all, what's one piece of advice for a friend wanting to stream who can't find the time? So, or the time or the motivation, like, because they're having a hard time trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna start with Lauren on that one.
Yeah, this may sound like a cliche, but I think it's just important to just stream. Just stream, like even if it's just 15 minutes. I mean, obviously if you're just starting out, like just so that you can understand the cadence and be okay with maybe there being one person in the chat or two people in the chat. We've all been there, and it's part of the process. It's part of the growing process. And as you continue to do it, you'll be able to be like, okay, I know my schedule to an extent. I'll be able to do a little bit more here. I'll be able to do a little bit more there. In terms of, you just got to do it. I think that's probably the best answer that I can give is you just got to do it.
Absolutely. Lemon.
Okay, let me think. When I started streaming, I played Town of Salem, and I had some wonderful Discord friends come in to chat and just chat with me, and I definitely do think that the motivation is evidently you don't want to stream to no one, right? And that was a big worry for me when I started, So when I had 4 Discord friends just come into Twitch chat and start chatting and typing, I can't tell you how appreciative I was because new people started chatting and typing, and that really created my now foundation in my community. So I definitely will say that since you're that friend, go into their stream. If you have the time and the spoons to go and do that, be that friend that someone was to you. I would really want to emphasize that because if it wasn't for my 4 Discord friends hanging out in my chat and typing, I don't know if I would have kept going, honestly, So I'm really appreciative for that. So be that friend that someone was to you.
Love that. That's such a good way to think of it. Yune.
Yeah, I would say some people have a hard time starting out, especially when they have like maybe not the highest end equipment available to them. But I'd say start with what you have. I literally started with like a step stool as a chair and like a 2010 Dell laptop playing Minecraft for like 30 minutes a day if I could. So like I would play Bed Wars, like that would be all I did. So I'd say start with what you have and with what you can, even if it is like that short amount of time. Like for me, it was 30 minutes a day that I would start streaming. So yeah, no, I have all the stuff that I do now. I'm able to stream longer if I want to. So yeah.
Nice. Carrie.
I would say in this space, it's really easy to compare yourself to others. And I think that also makes it difficult to find the motivation to stream. But I think you need to remember that you should compare yourself to yourself. So start small and then just compare your last stream with yourself. And for me, I find a lot of motivation in just getting to be a better streamer. So I am inspired by myself. That sounds weird, but truthfully, I find motivation just to be a better streamer for my viewers, just my content, and then just compare my content to the previous version.
Awesome, I love that. Twyla.
For a friend that maybe everybody's pretty much touched on the whole motivation thing. I'm going to touch on the time thing. everybody watches TV now and then. If you can cut like one TV show, like that's half an hour or an hour, however much time you spend watching TikToks or just goofing around on your phone doing nothing. If you just eliminate a little bit of that time, then you have time to stream. It's that simple. If you really want to go live, just hit the live button, you know? If it's something that's a priority to you, make it a priority.
I love that. You know what? I strive for the 90% rule. Like, I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to have like this perfect schedule. Everything has to be set perfect before they can start doing anything. And that perfection is paralysis, you know? So I feel like if you just kind of are easier on yourself, you know, like lighter on yourself, like it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try it. You'll find that you get a lot more done just by doing it than being like everything has to be right, everything has to be perfect. And that's how I feel like I find the time. Like I give myself that forgiveness. So with that being said, we're ready for some questions. We got about 20 minutes, you know,
Beautiful.
to have questions and answers. So we got 2 mics right here. I'm gonna start calling on people. I just want to remind y'all, you know, ask questions related to the topic. Don't request anything personal. Ask one question. Be kind, considerate, and respectful. And I'm gonna start on this side.
First of all, I just want to thank you ladies for taking the time to speak with us. Y'all are all incredible, and we all really appreciate it. I did want to mention that I have my own beautiful lady here who keeps me going, and you know, I really wanted to make sure that y'all understand how impactful this is for us. But I really wanted to touch on, with Lemon and Carrie, I think that I resonated a lot with y'all's particular outside of stream situation. We just graduated college. We're actually editors by trade, so we went to film school. Thank you. But we, you know, do cinematography, filmmaking, editing, and all that stuff. But I also, going back to you, I work at Dell, so I have an 8 to 5 job. And so running a business of editing for people, working at Dell, and having a life partner who I hope to be engaged to soon. But how do you navigate those life transitions, those life-altering transitions that are going on in the background, and how do you deal with that stress that carries into your day-to-day and not bring that to your stream?
Wow. Okay. So that's honestly a great question. Like full transparency. Now that I'm done like university, my next steps is job hunting, right? Evidently, I would like that like consistency. Sure, like I can full-time stream right now. I have the time, but I definitely am trying to look like for work. So evidently, that is something at the back of my mind, you know? Like I'm now relying a little bit more heavily on my community than previously, right? So it definitely is a hard transition, but I guess I'm just lucky with like a very positive mindset of, you know, things could be worse is what I tell myself. Maybe that's not good, you know. But I definitely am just like, I'm just always trying to be very positive about it. But it is stressful, and I definitely have been streaming more so that I forget that I'm stressed. So maybe not good advice, but that's what I've been doing.
I can relate a lot to what you said. I've been through 2 job changes since starting streaming. I'm also married, so there's a lot to navigate there. So truthfully, my husband is my rock. I try to communicate as much as possible. He's behind the scenes. He's a huge support system. He's really involved, to be completely honest. But it has been very difficult. And I think one of the harder decisions that we had to do is we actually had to demote him. Because it became too blended, and we lived together, we worked together, and then we spend all our time together. So we had to figure out what worked best for our relationship, which is the number one thing. One day we want to start a family. So with that being said, it was the best thing for us to kind of give him time, and now he's an optional mod. So he's Mr. Optional Mod Josh. But yeah, with the job changes and everything behind the scenes, the best thing for me to do with communicating is key for my community. So, you know, as streamers and content creators, we kind of share our life anyways, and you know, you can set your boundaries as you want, but Just trying to be as transparent as possible and then take breaks for yourself. And I just think that's the best thing to do is communicate, and prioritize your family time and have dedicated days for each other. Absolutely, Perfect.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your question. All right, I'm gonna go to this side.
All right, so I love streaming. I can stream for probably hours out a day, but when it comes to editing videos, that's where I get full paralysis, and I really struggle with trying to edit videos and post videos on other social media, especially with the pressure of trying to post your content 3 times a day in order to get your name out there. So my question is, how do you balance your time with editing content, with streaming, and your full-time jobs? Do you edit on the go? Do you spend a couple hours a day, multiple days a week, or do you have one day where you sit down and edit for long hours at a time?
I'll take it. I don't think everyone's going to have this ability to do this. So my full income is through my full-time job, and all the stream stuff goes back into the stream. I've been very grateful that I've been able to make enough from stream that I've actually hired an editor. So but it's only like a couple videos. So I work with her and just sending her clips. But for the other content, it's finding days within the week, and your days change. So I just kind of look at my day to day and say, this is the day where I'm going to sit down and edit. So that's what's worked best for me. And you can schedule videos, except for TikTok. But for most other platforms, you can schedule videos.
I would say, because I'll struggle with production paralysis a lot. It's taking it one step at a time. So even like editing audio, making sure it's level. Okay, next I'll cut the video, next I'll add subtitles. Whatever it looks like for you, just doing it one step at a time, and also acknowledging yourself and like feeling accomplished for each of those steps is going to be super important. One thing I would recommend also, like that one video you make, it can just be one video a day that you're making. That's going to be super important, and you upload that one video to multiple platforms. If you're making one for TikTok, you can upload it to Instagram and YouTube, but that's 3 platforms right there for you.
Yeah, I definitely will say, I think 1 is enough. I used to do 3. I mean, sure, it paid off, but like, your girl burnt out, I would do like 3 skits a day. It was way too much. I don't know how I did that. But definitely one of my biggest things is I actually I local record my VODs now on like YouTube. I do like minimal edits. I take out water breaks, I take out bathroom breaks, and people are still watching it. So definitely do think that like posting is better than not posting sometimes. So definitely don't feel like discouraged. And there's a lot of great small editing ones that you can use, like Join My Combo and Streamladder, I think. But definitely utilize those if you're finding that your workload is too much right now.
Awesome. Thank you for your question. All right, we're gonna go to that side.
Is it truly essential to have a schedule when you stream from time to time?
I think I can start with this one. I've looked at my Twitch trackers, the only way to see it all. I genuinely have never taken more than like 5 days off for 3 years. Like, this is the longest break I've ever taken so far. And I do think that for me and my schedule and the fact that I stream 4 to 5 hours, like 4 times a week, I don't think I would have been successful without a schedule. But that definitely, people can succeed with or without, but I really do think that it is one of the fastest ways to success and to reach your own goals.
I just want to piggyback on what Lemon was saying there a little bit. One thing that actually my husband and I were just talking about the other day, would you, if you're telling your community, hey, I'm going to go live in 5 minutes, or if you say, hey, I'm going to be live on Friday at 5 o'clock, which one do you think that they're more likely to show up to?
Friday?
Right. If you give them at least a set schedule, even if it's only once a week for half an hour, having a consistent time when they know that you're going to be live will let them know when to expect you to be on. More, if you want to grow your audience more, consistency is what's key. A schedule is important, but if you have a random schedule, like if you work retail, and let's say sometimes you open and you get out of work at 5 o'clock, but then sometimes you close and you end up not coming home until 11 o'clock at night. That's how my husband's schedule started out. He knew that he'd be home every day regardless at 11 p.m. because if he opened or closed, then he'd be home at that time and he could always go live at that specific time. If he had an opening shift, then he had time to do edits or things like that as soon as he got home. So do whatever works for you. But again, I sound like a broken record. Communication is key. Let your community know ahead of time when you're going to be live. If you can only go for one day a week, maybe once every other week or something like that, or your set days off are never consistent, find a time that works for you when you know that you're not going to be at work, or you know you're not going to have the kids or whatever you have as, I don't want to say a burden, but as an obligation. Right. So just make sure what works for you. It's different for everybody. I hope that answered your question a little bit there.
Yeah, I would definitely say one more thing. Just challenge yourself with the schedule if you have to.
Yeah.
Just for people to say taking a break is important. It's definitely important to communicate that as well. Like I do cinematography, editing, and I'm a student as well. So I'll have things pop up or jobs pop up that I have to go do, and it's safe to communicate that with them. So like I don't even have like a proper schedule right now, but I've given them days and times that they're expected for like to see me stream.
Yep.
Thanks for the tips.
Thank you for your question. It's really great. I'll take one over here.
All right. So my question is basically, what are the things you do or the coping mechanisms during those break times or during those burnout times?
Good question.
Oh, I would love to answer this. So I started as a variety streamer, so I didn't have the burnout, issue of playing one game. So my burnout came from working too much, or not feeling inspired. So what's worked best for me is as soon as I feel burnout, obviously take some breaks. But if it's motivation burnout, try to find circles of people outside of your normal bubble and re-inspire yourself, because we all create content. So maybe there's tons of creators out there. There's got to be somebody out there that you go, whoa, that's really cool. Like, let me learn more about this. Or maybe it's even learning a new skill, or even it's sometimes taking some time away and just getting away from the room. So for me, it's been inspiring myself through other people.
Yeah, I would say learning a new skill is huge. Like I love watching tutorials, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Skillshare. Obviously, the more you know, the more you can expand your knowledge. The more that you're able to do. But yeah, if there's especially when it like to go back with the editing thing, like if there's something you're like, wow, I don't really know how to make this transition, or I don't really know how to make whatever the case may be, whatever it is. Take the time to try and learn that. It's definitely going to be helpful and beneficial in the end. Learning is fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
I definitely will say though, crying is also like a thing that we do.
Don't be ashamed either. Crying is good.
Well, the mental breakdowns go hard.
It makes you feel better though. I'm all for it.
Awesome. Yes.
So I know you all touched on it earlier about balancing streaming and IRL relationships. Do you have any advice on that with the added, your partner is also a streamer? How do you find time to foster both sides?
Yeah, no. I definitely will say I had a partner. I don't have a partner anymore, but something that we did was that we would end up like watching a show together. Like it's such a small thing, but having that set hour every single week that you sit down, you spend time with them, or you have dinner, or you make dinner. Honestly, that is the biggest cheat code. Make dinner with your partners. Like that is a time where you get to organically talk. Like having like a partner that's in content creation is such a asset, a tool. You get to actually bounce off of that person, but definitely like reserve that time to only talking about other things. Spend time with them and have a bit of a breather.
I started off also, actually my husband, he's a partnered streamer as well. And he started streaming and I gradually started being on his channel as well. And then the community demanded that I made my own channel as well. And it's difficult, it's very difficult scheduling our streams around each other and then still having time for our family and the animals and ourselves as a couple. It's important. You have to set time, whatever time works for you, whether it's between your streams or maybe before you go to bed, you spend time watching a movie, cuddling, or maybe you go outside for a walk, take the dog for a walk and have time talking. But it's a very rare and wonderful thing that you have, though, because you guys understand each other and you know the difficulties of what it's like to be behind a camera, having people coming to watch you every day. It's something that you guys can actually relate to and help build each other's channels up. So it's a good thing you got there.
And can I just say, as a comment, pretty much everything you've all talked on with full-time job, partner, and all that is kind of validating for me, because I'm thinking I'm crazy and doing all this, and all the advice you've given is stuff I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right here.
It's completely normal to feel like you're crazy, but you're not. I think we've all had that moment where we're like, what the heck am I doing? But no, it's you're doing great. And if you ever have any questions, I think we're all available. And your moderators and everybody else, reach out to people, talk to them,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Hi.
Hi. Also talking about balancing IRL friendships. When it comes to the content that you're putting out on social media, how do you curate content that's for your Twitch community while still having that retention of your IRL friends? So for example, on Instagram, I don't want all of my content to just be my Twitch community while kind of forgetting about the things that my IRL friends want to see.
You should make a separate channel.
Yeah, separate.
I was gonna say I have two accounts.
I hate to say that.
I unfortunately ran into an issue where you had one of those bots that started follow. It was an impersonating account, and it started going to all my IRL friends, and it was very embarrassing. But thankfully, early in my career, that I could do some damage control. So I 100% recommend separating everything. And then if your IRL friends want to follow your content, then they can go to the content.
I will say though one thing, if you have any friends that follow you, like my mom, I love her, but I'm like, you cannot follow my Twitter. I'm sorry. Does that make sense? Like in the space specifically as females or female identifying, people will take advantage. People will look through your tags, will look through your following, regardless of size, Like people that don't have your best intentions are everywhere. Separate those channels early on. That's what I did, and you just have to it's also a safety thing, So definitely they can follow, but you cannot follow them back,
To prevent doxing, it's very important, especially as women.
Yep. Thank you for your question. Thank you.
Hi, I've appreciated y'all's insights over the past 40, 50 minutes or however long it's been. I have a question regarding scheduling, especially, I work a 9 to 5, for example, and started recently dating, and that date night is, because she's on the other side of the city, that can vary per day. So then how often do you feel like you can change your schedule, or is it more like, hey, here's enough of a heads up for setting that schedule for that week, for example? Especially if you might not even know the plans for the weekend yet, as you're figuring that out.
I think it depends on how you want to set your schedule, and how your community, how they prefer to watch you and stay up to date. Because I started on Monday and Wednesday for 2 years, and then I added Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I think I'm at a point now where my community knows how to, get in touch with me. They know where to check. That I now set my schedule per every Sunday. I look and say, I want to go on a date this day. We are not streaming on Friday, so you could try something like that, and then just try to stay very communicative and tell redirect everyone, go to these channels to find those schedules. Because at the end of the day, communication is key, and your time off is also important. But your audience needs to know where to find you. So just being on top of your socials is what I would suggest. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for your question. We have time for one last question.
You guys talk about moderators a lot. First of all, you ladies are crushing it, but I find that balancing, I have to rely on my moderators a ton. How do you do that while people understanding this is a job, and I know everyone streams for different reasons. Some people like it is a job, some people it is a hobby, but when it is your job, how do you do that and rely on your moderators? Because I mean, they're providing so much, but also like set those boundaries so they don't, it doesn't overflow into your life. And I feel like that's a bigger struggle for women on Twitch specifically too, and especially with like male moderators.
I would say, especially with moderators, make sure they're not just like somebody you found. They're like mods for all these different people, like a resume type thing.
I have an application.
I would say make them your friends. One thing I did was I put out mod applications to see if any of my friends were originally interested, and some of them were. So I took those people on, and then for some of them, I individually reached out to them saying, hey, I know you show up to stream a lot, and you're like one of my good friends, and if you have the time and if you want to, it's completely up to you. Would you mind moderating the channel? You don't have to completely change your entire schedule to work around it, but since you're already there, I would appreciate it if you would like to work with me with this.
Yep. Awesome.
I don't let my IRL friends watch me, so but yes.
Thank you. Thank you for your question, and I want to say a humongous thank you to all of my speakers here. Please make sure to go and check them out on Twitch. They are absolutely talented and incredible. Thank you. Yes, round of applause for everybody here. Y'all killed it, and you did it exactly on time. All that preparation worked. It was good. It was good. See, that's time management right there. So just remind everybody who you all are, where they can find you, and yeah, call it a day.
Okay, so I am Lemon, or it's Lemon Squares, and I don't know, if you are looking to zestify your morning, EST time, your girls here. I'm really kidding, but no, I don't want to shout myself out. I love these women. Thank you so much for taking the chance and being up here with me today.
And I'm Kelly, or Hero Carrie. You can find me on Hero Carrie everywhere. I do stream Eastern times as well, and thank you for coming.
Yeah, Yune Kokoro, that's my at everywhere as well, and I am in CST usually in the afternoons.
Lauren WKR, EST, and Lauren WKR on all the socials.
I'm Twyla, and sadly that name is taken almost everywhere except Twitch. So my socials are kind of different on each platform except for Twitch. So they're all listed on my Twitch profile if you guys are interested in following. DMs are open if anyone has any questions. Of course, I do stream in the evenings Eastern Standard Time. So
thank you. And my name is Ash Said Hi. I was your host for today. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your TwitchCon. It has been absolutely incredible for me, and I am honored to share the stage with all of you. So thank you. Go out there and have fun. Enjoy TwitchCon.